In this video, we're going to look at how we get data from the keyboard into our program, because entering data is very important in a lot of programs. Later, we'll see how to read that data from a file on disk, but we can use the read command. And the read command allows us to enter data from the keyboard. The read command, it's read, then if you want the default formatting, the asterisk, a comma, and the variable. And if I run this, what I've got is just an asterisk, or rather a cursor at the bottom. I don't know what it wants. Well, I wrote the program, so I know it wants a number. It's not doing anything with the number afterwards. Well, what I want to do is have it be prompted. And I can do that with a print. So I could say print enter a number before the read, and it says enter a number, and I'll enter the number. Now, I'm not doing anything with it afterwards, but it asked us or prompted us to enter a number. However, the enter a number string is on one line, and the number I enter is on a second line. That's okay. At least it tells me what I want, but it's better to use, instead of the print, the write command. And the write command allows me to enter a number and actually type that value in on the same line. So here it says write. Now the syntax is kind of awkward. I've told it format, default format, comma, but then FMT for format equal, and that this is going to be a string, a comma, and the key to not going to the next line is this advance equal no. The open and close parentheses on the formatting portion, the format and the advance, and it's kind of awkward. And you would think you would have also the comma, because you normally, just the asterisk comma, you have a comma, but there's no comma here. And then we've got our read statement. And let's write out that, or we could even just print here. You could use the write exclusively, that's fine. So, but I'm going to say print, comma, the number entered was, and when I run this, it's asking me for a number, and now the cursor's on the same line. There's a space here between R and the cursor, and that's because I put a space in the quotes because I wanted it to have that space. So I'll enter a number, and now it tells me the number was, and whatever that number value was. I didn't format my print, or I could have used the write and formatted it, but since I didn't, I've got all this space. That's okay, because we're looking at how we read from the keyboard. Now, I've also created a float variable and a character, and I could use the same idea. So let's copy and paste. And I could go in here and I could tell it to read, let's say, the float And I still can say enter a number because it's a number. And let's do this time, enter your name. And that will be my name string. And afterwards, we'll print those values. And I'm going to take the print for the number entered, and I'm going to print everything after I've entered all the data. Let's say second. And here, the name entered. So now when I run it, it's asking me for a number, ask for another number, ask now for a name, and it outputs that data. Now the name entered was Dan is running together. That's because when I printed it out, I didn't have a space and it was left aligning the name that I entered. Again, I could have used format specifiers to make this look nicer, but this is the basics of getting keyboard entry. You always want, before your read, you want to output a prompt, use the write. This way, if you want the prompt and the cursor to be on the same line, if not, you could just use a write, or a print rather than a write. That no advance does not work with the print, so you would have to do the write to keep it from going down. Having the ability to enter data from the keyboard is very important for interactive programs. We'll see later how to read from a file on disk, and a lot of times when we're processing large amounts of data, that's the way we're going to get the data in. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe.